This is St. Paul's Chapel, the oldest church in New York, one of the few structures to survive the invasion of British troops at the start of the American Revolution. Many of the buildings in this neighborhood burned to the ground as Patriot forces withdrew, but the streets are still the same. And local museums and historians are attempting to highlight what remains, as well as New York's central role in the fight for independence.
And so we tell the story of that occupation, but we also tell the story of what's sometimes been called America's first Civil War. Because, as I think most of us can imagine, a lot of New Yorkers really felt connected to the British Empire.
This video recreates the terrible conditions people lived under as the British took control and the city became a haven for those fleeing the war, including 3,000 former slaves hoping to earn their freedom fighting for the king, as recorded in the so-called Book of Negroes. This fence in Lower Manhattan is older than the United States itself. Originally, it surrounded a statue of King George III. But just days after the Declaration of Independence was signed, the area was stormed by Patriot troops. They knocked over the statue and, legend has it, melted it down into musket balls that were used eventually against British troops. But it took 7 years before troops finally left and New York was free of British rule.
This was truly the hardest time in New York's history. And the fact that New York was able to, within a generation, restart its economy, re-knit its society, even though people had been literally on the opposite sides of a shooting war, I think that gives us some inspiration.
It wasn't until 1789, 13 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, that George Washington was sworn in as the nation's first president. And it happened right here at New York's Federal Hall. Kristen, Saloomey, Al Jazeera, New York.